Third match of the day. The Deal and Reason sitting back on their throne like they were at the conclusion of day one. But Queasy and ThomasHD, from going down off spawn in the second match, they've dropped down to 8th place on the leaderboard. But with this quick knock, they have the advantage now. The 2 versus 1, all they need to do is close it off, and it's exactly what gets done.
Yeah, I like the opportunity there, but he had the first shot with a frenzy just too far away to really land damage that matters. Belusi under pressure. Marius and Sangild already have 1 elimination, which is his duo, and he tries to take to fight to then. I've seen that work sometimes, but more times than not, the numbers game usually wins.
That was an engagement close to the lavish layer, so you know these duos are also aware of what ThomasHD and Queasy's engagement is looking like. So seeing that that one ended early, I don't think they'll be looking for any sort of third party. The Deal and Reason feeling a lot more comfortable now. They're awake, like Levin said. No more naps, no more sleeping. It's day 2 of the grand finals, the last chance to show your worth in this major. And they are a duo that are looking like they can take it home.
What I like about Reason and Vidia over here towards Snooty Steps, typically you see a lot of teams kind of just battle it out for the mythic, for the medallion, without too many cares in the world. They kind of play it by ear. They let those opportunities come to them. But looks like the George looking for Vasquez. They finally drop down. They're going to find him. No more hide and seek. It's all about finishing the job, and that one's going to come through easy. Just stuck on the side of a mountain. And then Vasquez are going to be no more here in this lobby, which kind of opens up a possible forecast tower, because more times than not, it was them that were going for it.
And that forecast tower can be crucial for making sure you safely make it to the late game, having that vision of the upcoming zones before your competitors. Reason and Vidil just continuing with their planned out loot path, as they know they do have some players close by. However, there's nothing they need to do other than loot right now.
You're just trying to find for both of them to get a grappler, maybe some fizzes, some crash pads. It's going to be the most important things that they're looking for. Rotation, mixing pings. Almost looks like they're trying to cut off a loot path, hide on a chest. Marius and Sangil got to be careful. It's no longer just a trick coming out from Misha and Teeny. Everybody really taking note and trying to add some sort of that strategy to their game plan. Will it work though? And they sense it. They sense something's up. Nothing's easy. They try to go ahead and 2v1 pings on the other side. Marius go ahead and adds a huge flank and a couple of shots. Gonna allow his teammate Sangil to get out almost unscathed.
It does not work, as Ping and Mixid from hiding now to on their knees, knocked down, using that sniper rifle to maximize damage. As the 2v1, Mixin now put into panic. He needs to make something happen in this duel.
It's a nice first shot being fired. He's trying to finish it off. Back to back.
Oh.
Great attempt from Mixin. Unfortunately, the 2v1, Sangil really firing the defining shot to take him down, but he was putting in work, whittling down his opponents, chipping him down one shot at a time. Fortunately enough, he has to kind of watch the rest of this game out on the sidelines. Malibuca and Mustache fencing fields. You can see nobody else is really over in this location anymore. Everybody kind of disengaged on out, leaving Malibuca and Mustache all the time in the world to farm up, to loot up before they make their rotation on outward. And they've been having such a consistent FNCS, not just today, but multiple second places yesterday. Their team, I feel like, are in the running towards the top of that leaderboard.
They have such a strong early game as well. Getting the vault every match, getting the medallion, the mythic AR. It's a huge benefit to the rest of their match, just like these forecast towers that Giraz and Cherry are going for. They might have even already gotten it. You can see the Elim on the board. Or they're just waiting for the NPCs to spawn still. Taking a look at the surrounding areas. Farming up, making sure they're staying efficient. They don't want to be put into place here, doing nothing. Either you could be farming, either you could be looking for tags. There's always something you want to do. And let's take a look at here at the, let's say, most aggressive forecast battle we've seen, but what's going on here, Jacob? I see Vico, I see Pink. I don't see any eliminations, and I don't see any Kiduo or Kiro.
Yeah, it almost makes you wonder with how it's been going, trading off between the two. You can kind of see when Vico and Pink get there first, Kiro and Kiduo, they either play it slow, they take high ground, or they disengage completely. But on the other way around, more times than not, Pink and Vico are ready to fight for it. So it does look like they were just there first to the punch and really kind of pushing teams out as they try to enter in to their line of sight. Even players trying to launch pad into the distance, becoming targets of Vico.
We can see here, Kiduo is at the Grand Glacier with his duo partner. They are refarming, currently in 13th place on the leaderboard, right beside Vico and Pink at 15th. Everybody close in terms of points, though. You can see it's 218 for 17th, and I believe 228 all the way up to 13th. Just a couple eliminations separating them, as Diox and Cade now as well with 0 on the board will just continue getting themselves into a better position. Ooh.
Nice find there. Fizz, floppers. A lot of this loot towards the shoreline does remain unlooted until a team like this rotates on pass, not really expecting to find much. It's usually a blessing in disguise. Flowberry Fizz coming on out. Say Diox and Cade. Their path currently is going to be cut off by Voco and Vortexers, which kind of separated, but not too far off to cause too many worries. They were able to get one of the forecast towers. Wax and Pixie looking like they're going to be able to get the other. And obviously the first one that we saw, Pink and Vico, they're going to have the third.
Rotate continues now. Objective secured, loot secured. And after the forecast towers, now the engagements usually end up for those combat caches that will spawn at an equal distance between two teams. So if we start to see a lot more box fights, that is why. Taking a look at Pablo and his duo partner Bevies, who have been performing incredibly well here at the start of day 2. You can see up in 3rd place now. Merstash Malabuka 2nd, Vidil Recent up back on their throne in 1st. But all it takes is one big game, like we saw, to change up the leaderboard.
And it almost makes me wonder if they're just able to stay alive as a full duo. As Mary just kind of misses the crash pad play, hits his head on the roof. Like, how good would Pablo and Bevies be on that leaderboard if they were able to play out those respective games together? Might have made a world of difference.
It's always the what ifs, Jacob. It's always the what ifs.
For candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
And the happy holidays. Marius and Sanguild with 4 on the board. On the train tracks, this is, I believe, where the last game did end. As we look at Volko Vortexers, you said it yourself, Jacob. First victory royale in an FNCS finals yesterday. They've been getting to the late game, especially in the first match, but not yet able to secure another win.
Uh-oh. Sapphire gets a knock on the Veno in the feed. And even gets the cleanup. That's not the best situation for them to be in, especially with a comeback opportunity. Now, I even saw Veno after one of those games talking about taking back control, just watch. You got to imagine, probably with a statement like that, maybe getting a little aggressive, because you know as well as I do, one of their biggest problems throughout this FNCS is how they're handling Surge in these set lobbies, which not necessarily been going their way, and they've been kind of having to really dig deep, put themselves into risky situations just to find that Surge. And I got to imagine that has to be another one.
You can see Tayson has been left alone. Benno knocked out of the match. Once again, another solo we're following. Who's in the top of the leaderboard? They have dropped down, you can see, though, to 10th place with 326 points. But we said it recently, one big match is what they need. They got it in the last game of day 1. And anything's possible here in day 2.
Gotta be able to have mental toughness. It's a marathon. It's not just a race across the finish line. Got to be able to stay composed. And one thing I learned, you know, even though we do have those special cases, but not everything in an FNCS will go your way, and you got to be able to handle when things kind of go wrong and be able to bounce back. Can't just mentally give up. And you see iDrops by himself, trying to remain tough in a situation just like this. And it doesn't necessarily scare me too much. I've seen iDrop clutch in some of the biggest moments, including this FNCS, just to make it to this stage. As Veno gets Tayson gets Veno back into the game. But there is going to be another team ready to pounce. They're trying to take him down, and Veno gets dropped just as fast as he got rebooted back into the game, which leaves Tayson by himself. Lazen and Lox are going to be the team trying to destruct and really try to stop the incredible FNCS run between Tayson and Veno. Tayson doing a good job of fighting back. Brings Lazen down to just a sliver of shield. Full HP, though, is buying himself even more time with each shot that gets fired.
An emergency for Tayson, put into crisis, as now he's in the 1v2. It looks like the opponents almost want to force out this engagement. With the shots coming from Tayson, they look a little scared, as they're not being completely aggressive here. Has the time to recuperate his shield with that Flowberry Fizz. Zone gets closer and closer now, as there's just 22 seconds left. Grapple Blade will be put to good use. iDrop is going to be another player close by. So many things can go wrong here.
iDrop used the opportunity. He got the cheeky elimination on Veno. Even though he doesn't get credit, he was able to not only loot it up, get just a couple more shots for his overall Storm Surge. Tayson sneaks in, grabs Veno's card, and is immediately trying to disengage on out and go for reboot attempt number 2.
iDrop continuing to build behind him. He will be able to reuse this match, but Tayson, with shots like those, cracking iDrop. Is he going to force the fight from this? He is a solo. He could use a bit of extra loot, but he sees the duos close by. He cannot take a lot of time. It's either get in or get out.
I think he's taking notice of that, and you can almost see the decision making in real time as he disengages on out. Shield isn't necessarily too much of a worry here for Tayson, as long as he doesn't get chipped away at his HP. Finally, the disengage is going to come through. You know he has Veno's reboot card, and the goal is to get him back into the game. And after that, goal 2 is find some sort of a refresh, because Tayson now doesn't look the most healthy in terms of materials. Now imagine when Veno comes back and they got to split it between them both.
Definitely not going to be easy. Scary for Merstash. No shield, sliver of HP. Although Malapuka has built around the flag here, so it looks like they should be able to secure a bit of extra loot as the medallion gets split up, so they do not have to use those consumable heals so early on. They should be able to get some extra as well now. The question is, though, will these other duos close by apply pressure, or will they just keep refarming?
He's second place, 433 points. Not only going to be able to capture that, but they're on top of Rift Island. Good way in towards zone as well. So no matter where it pushes or pulls, Malapuka Merstash, whether they use the Flowberry Fizz or just the regular old launch pad, we're going to have an easy chance rotating in towards zone. Tayson still, you can see he's still trying to find that reboot card.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. He is taking the safer option to go to Grand Glacier, though, inside of the zone. And he's not the only player that's getting a reboot here. It's iDrop, but you saw the duo creeping in once again in a similar scenario to what Tayson just went through. iDrop picks up Nebs. Nebs, on the other hand, though, isn't going to go down just yet. But they're forced again into an engagement, into this battle where they don't have the advantage in.
Yeah, Nebs and iDrop just need to figure out a way to reunite. But Andalix and Sato giving them more than enough opportunity as they're going to crash pad their way towards zone. So now it's just about giving yourself time here in a situation like this, even if you're deep in zone, just like Nebs and iDrop are, just to try to farm up, get as many resources. You've done enough at this stage to get your teammate back into the game, and now you just need to push yourself over that line. Same thing could be said about Tayson and Veno. And since they do land over towards Grand Glacier, they can recycle a lot of this loot, anything that they did leave behind from earlier on in the same match before they rotate on over. But Tayson's going to be the one leading the charge. He's going to find his spot. And then later, Veno will reunite into the same box once that comes to fruition.
Go into the launch pads. But are naturally placed on top of the mountain here to fly right back into zone. They should be able to make it all the way. They even have those spare medkits to heal up, but I wonder how much damage Tayson was able to get. He did quite a bit in those engagements, so it shouldn't be too bad for this duo, but they will definitely need to do a bit of work in these upcoming zones.
Does look like we got another pool, not too far away though from the current zone. So Tayson and Veno, that's a little bit of a blessing, so they don't have to keep rotating towards the northwest part of the map away from Rift Island, but they immediately get spotted out by Seti, who cracks the shield. And typically that would be a great opportunity to go, but you see Seti and Cammy separated on two different ends of Reckless Railway, not really able to take advantage of that damage. But instead, they're going to do the next best thing. Try to reunite on the other side of the zone, but as we tune in, Malibuca and Mustache in another fight on the other side. They're able to at least get one. AR Bafo is going to be the only one left, and they're hot on the heels, melting through a lot of these builds, just trying to get that 6 extra points for their efforts. And just like that, that's going to be achieved, and that's 12 overall at the top of Rift Island that Malibuca and Mustache just gathered.
Quick, nice little 12 for Mustache and Malibuca to give. Oh, that was a disgusting snipe. To give Bafo the benefit of the doubt, the last time he did compete in the finals was over 1,280 days ago in Chapter 2, Season 3. Actually, the longest of any player in this lobby, even longer than Mongrel. So it must be tough. But for iDrop and Nebs, they are going for the combat cash, but they're going to need to get into a bit of action if they want to secure it. 35 above, they've done a bit of damage. 41 shield, 35 HP as the zone keeps ticking.
Yeah, luckily for them, they did get the combat cash in which you were talking about, which grants them medkits and more time to fight in towards the zone. But iDrop has to go ahead and pop his first one now. Nebs needs to play defensive, allow him to pop that medkit without really canceling it. But opponents on the other side, Dandy and Stas, it does look like they're down on Surge, so they really have no other choice but to keep fighting this. So if they disengage, that'll be all their HP, all their heals. iDrops and Nev, they did just enough to stay ahead of the curve. 29 is better than nothing. iDrop's trying to go in, gain a little bit more advantage. The first knock is going to come through with ease. iDrop and Nebs, though, still under pressure on the other side. Another team towards the outskirts taking notice, starting to put shots in that direction. iDrop wins the fight, but Nebs goes down again.
They needed to take this fight. They needed those eliminations to get the refresh, but as Neb's been knocked, iDrop forced to leave him, continue as a solo. We can see what happened here with Benno and Tayson. They just were making their way back into zone, but Seti and Cammy stopped them. Is that what's going to lead to their demise, as it looks like the zone might have got the best of them?
Yeah, unfortunately enough, it is confirmed. Veno and Tayson go down outside of zone. Another game where the struggles continue, which is really leaving them in a position, even with 1.5 points, they need top performances. And I need all caps when it comes to those top performances if they want to have a chance at not only the first place prize, but that global championship, which is granted to the top 2 teams in this competition.
Malibuca Mustache currently in 2nd place. Now, this is a duo that competed together in FNCS, but ended up splitting at the beginning of Chapter 4. It would be amazing to see them take home a title after joining forces once again. Vidil and Reason, though, they might stop that from happening if they continue the dominance like we saw from the last match.
Yeah, you can see they got that max pull, and instead of fighting a risky fight, the team that's in first place, it does look like they're going to try to crash pad, rotate on out, but they're just double checking before they go ahead, maybe even popping a little bit of a med kit on the side of Vidil. Crash pad finally coming out, and this is where the rotation is going to begin for Reason and Vidil. Even Seti going down to Shimoki, though, while everybody's making their way over. And if you look at the rotation, look at the mini-map, Takata. There is nobody in sight in front of Vidil and Reason. They just got themselves a free rotation.
I mean, with 3 elims, it's not like they need a lot of damage either. This is very impactful for this duo. I mean, the only ones you can see Astral Art skill kind of in the zone there. But they should just be able to almost walk in here. They might even wait a little bit so that the other duos begin their rotate and the focus gets onto them before using the crash pad here. They are going to pop the Flowberry, though. Crash pad's going to go down. They're going to take the rotate early and have the option to look back at the duos rotating in. You can even slide up this hill here They might just be the most elevated duo as the quick scope comes through, unable to connect the headshot, but that's still a big tag.
I was just laughing to myself momentarily. As soon as they got the crash pad off, you see that team just immediately close up their boxes. They don't want to be susceptible to any sort of sneaky plays, or even it's somebody trying to slide right in. That's Lunex and Monier, the ones who took a huge sniper shot from Reason. Really second guess any peaks coming through as we jump on board Pablo and Bevy. At one point or another today, Pablo had stolen the show, but with the hiccups in that last game, they get stolen right back by Reason and Vidil. This is their chance now that they're a full duo. Placement points starting to click in, that they can really show the potential in which they've been working on all season long.
Storm Surge is active. You see the Nodi now as players are rushed to do a bit of damage. They need to make something happen if they don't have enough. But for Reason and Vidil, a push came through, took out Archskill, and it went down. Our #1 team eliminated once again before the late game even starts.
With just scraps of points gathered up until that point. Very little placement. Not a ton in terms of eliminations. So again, the trend of teams at the top of the leaderboard has the potential to change hands. They were only 27 points ahead of Malibuca and Mustache to start this game off. A couple more placements alone is going to have them overtaking first place, let alone any eliminations they're able to gather.
A huge opportunity for this duo. Mustache has a title alongside Tayson, but Malibuca is looking to get his first. Will this be enough to put them in the first place spot? The grapple comes through. They have an incredible amount of damage, elevating themselves to a more secure layer, but they cannot get picked off here.
Yeah, we're going over this bridge. You don't want to be stuck underneath. At least when it starts for the moving zones, it might be fine for now. CZB on the other side, along with his teammate Nathan, really don't have any shields. Thomas, Queasy, 220 above the threshold. Just gathering all this information. They spot this player out, and they know that he's weak, and it looks like they're going to try to drop him in. That's Robin. He lost his duo Manax not too long ago, and now he loses himself. He goes down. Great opportunity from Queasy and Veno, or Queasy and Thomas, excuse me, there, to find that elimination.
Bevy's Pablo, the Elim onto Nathan, as they are all the way down below here. Rotates will have to come through. It's 9th zone now, first moving coming to a close. A majority of the duo is already on the moving side, but it's Swizzy and Putrick that are in the clouds. We've seen throughout these matches that the duos to hold on from first zone are almost able to maintain it the whole rate through the end game. Can they do it once again?
Only time will tell, because we know there's a couple of those teams still alive here in this lobby. Especially the ones with snipers. Bevy just gets targeted out. Multiple teams, left, right, and center. Malibuca and Mustache doing the brunt of that damage, continuing the pressure. They don't want to let these eliminations go for free, but Pablo is going to be able to skip on by with the Flowberry Fizz, combined with the crash pad. Bevies and him got separated. Finally reunite, though, with just a sliver of HP. These guys neverly seemingly going down without a fight. You can never count them out.
Pressure is on as they're 132 below. Flowberry Fizz gonna be popped for that mobility boost. Big pot coming through, but Bevies needs a med kit. It's dropped now as they need to keep rotating.
80 below. Storm Surge going to begin to do damage for this team. They have to figure out where they're going to get the damage. 23, 40, 80, constantly ping-pong up and down the damage threshold. A couple of those heals are coming out. Only a couple more players do need to go down before Storm Surge does deactivate. Great play and example for that as Diox gets the target towards the backside. Damage has been dealt, but Storm Surge turns off. Pablo and Bevy still need some sort of a refresh to heal up, and Diox is going to be the one in their line of sights, hot on the heels, but he changes layers to try to get out. He's trying to plan a great escape here.
Pablo needs to be the initiator here. He does have more HP and shield. His duo partner now needs to regroup. There we go. They're together. They're surviving zone, but with 0 builds to work with, they popped their last big pot, and they needed to make something happen.
Yep, all they have left. Meanwhile, smooth sailing, Swizzy, Putrick still have to be careful though, because I saw Thomas, Queasy going up a few layers. Those are the ones who might take high ground, but Pablo gets dropped. Bevies gets taken down. Dexy with a 2v1. That's how you score 12 points in the late game.
The back-to-back is Malibuca. Once again, left as a solo. 505 points on the board, looking to overtake the throne. 2 medkits in the inventory. He's gonna pop 1. He does have 28 builds. 2 options now. Go ahead with the materials or stay again in the zone. Another medkit. As Queasy and Thomas, they retook height.
I knew it the moment I saw them moving up a couple of those layers. They want to go ahead and try to close out this game. You have to be careful, though. We've seen them in this position before, yesterday to be exact, and they were taken down by a well-placed snipe shot. Thomas overstretching to get those opportunities. Will they make that same mistake? Marius and Sandguild, and this team, they already have a win today. It was Sandguild's first win in an FNCS finals lobby, and they're looking to mimic that here.
Not only that, 8 eliminations. They want double digits. They're hungry for more. Just 8 duos up as Astral gets taken down. Double edit comes through. It's Pink. It's Vico. As Marius continues taking shots. He's just 1 more away from getting the knock on Pink, and he gets it. Both players still up. They continue from low ground.
That was a big find to keep themselves moving forward. 9 eliminations, almost into the double digits, but you have to go against the kings of Lavish Layer, Thomas and Queasy. As he drops in, he finds out Pixie on the hunt for another. Pink and Vico are now fully out of lobby as Vico gets taken down. Thomas continues to drop down, but it's not enough. He finally meets his maker. Marius and Sangil take him out, and they're trying to go for their second VR of the day as they inch themselves into the final 4.
Can they do it? It's Queasy up top. He has a med kit. The question is, how many? Sandguild now forced to play in the zone. Marius looking to cause disruption. It's Sandguild that has 1 more med kit. And Queasy up above, continuing with the heal off.
Yeah, Sapfire's there as well. Basically a solo FNCS for this end game, all coming down to a heal off. Queasy grapple blades to the front side of the zone. Can only imagine what he found. Sandguild now has to go on the hunt. The last of his heals are going to be used. Only a few seconds left, but he finds another med kit. No chance to use it. Queasy and Thomas take the game.
That is a massive win for this duo. They were dropped down to 8th place from going off spawn to now securing the victory royale and bumping themselves right back to where they came from.
Playing their roles to perfection. Thomas dropping down, causing so much chaos, so much commotion to find those eliminations and pick up opportunities for Queasy to go unscathed on that high ground. Even with him starting the heal off before zone fully closed, they did more than enough damage and found more than enough heals to make this game look easy.
Queasy looking to secure his 4th FNCS title. ThomasHD trying to get his 1st. The most consistent player yet to take home an FNCS. You know they want it more than ever.
It's gonna be the greatest chance. There was kind of the final moments. Grapple blading to the front side of the zone. Almost even threading the needle in terms of when he popped it. You saw him go down to about 16 or so HP, but once again, Thomas and Queasy really rise up, and something we noticed throughout game 1, throughout game 2, first place, the teams at the top of the leaderboard are falling rather early, so another chance for a team to take over first place. But have they done enough? Frankie, Levin, Mini, let us know.